Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Season 3 of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Macy Coleman. She's a board-certified registered dietitian and nutritionist and the owner of Well Woman Nutrition, a virtual private practice that helps women balance their hormones, heal their gut, solve their fertility problems, and feel their absolute best through some of the most vital years of their lives. On today's show, we're talking all about preconception prep and why this is so important to your overall fertility, hormones, and wellness journey. Now, let's welcome Macy to the show. Hey, Macy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you today. So let's dive into that. Tell us a little bit more about you. Kind of what was your inspiration behind working in women's health and with fertility and with preconception?
Yeah, good question. So I worked in so many different kind of realms of nutrition because, dietitians, we can do a lot of different things. And so I started with working with veterans at the VA hospital. I moved to, acute care adult ICU. I went to a pediatric hospital where I specialized in short gut syndrome. So did a lot of GI stuff with newborns up to 20-something-year-olds. And, I loved all of those jobs, but I never felt like at home. Like I never really connected completely with it. And really early on in my career, I was also simultaneously dealing with, a lot of my own gut issues, hormone issues. I was in and out of the hospital. Doctor's offices, did a million tests, had surgery, but had no idea still what was going on or really how to fix it. And, conventional medicine, unfortunately, just wasn't giving me, the answers that I was really looking for. So I felt stuck, honestly, in my own health, but also in my career. I just didn't feel like what I was doing was helping to optimize people's health. It was really helping to save people, which is amazing. And that is exactly what conventional medicine is phenomenal at. But it's just not what I wanted. I wanted to really focus on making people feel like their best self. And I wanted to feel really good too. And, because I didn't fit the mold of what they thought was wrong with me, which was gallbladder, appendix issues, they decided to go ahead and take it out anyway, which did me no good, right? It wasn't the problem. They ended up diagnosing me with IBS, PCOS, said I might have endo, and kind of set me out the door with a handful of prescriptions. And, I knew kind of at that moment I had two choices, right? One, settle and just be on multiple medications at 20 years old. Or I could take my health into my own hands and really figure out what was going on. So I just dug deep into the research of gut health, hormone health, fertility, preconception, because I was kind of approaching that stage of life anyways. So I just wanted to really try to optimize my health. And I just remember thinking at that point, I was absolutely terrified because I'm like, how on earth could I get pregnant when I'm miserable, like in my own body and in my own health? Like, this is so scary. So I really just used myself as a guinea pig. I talked to a bunch of professionals, again, dove into the research, and honestly, I thought everything I was doing was selfish, for my health to make me feel better. But it kind of all clicked when I had a friend with infertility, and she looked to me for help, and she was like, I know you've been researching this. Can you help me? And I literally just dove at that chance. I was like, this is so exciting to me. Like, yes, please let me help you. And there it just became very clear. Like, this is my passion. This is absolutely what I'm meant to do. It started selfish, but it ended up, kind of snowballing into what it is now. And I'm honestly still in disbelief that this is my job. It feels like a hobby. Yeah, I love it. It's just you get to go to work every day and just love what you do. And that's really how I got here in this kind of realm of nutrition.
I love that. Oh my goodness. And I love that you had the wherewithal at 20 to say no prescriptions. I'm not doing that. And our bodies are amazing and they can heal themselves if we just listen to that and give them the tools they need. So I love that you said that. And your story is similar to mine. I had a fertility story, and that was conventional medicine told me I needed to do IVF because of my age, but there was nothing else medically wrong with me. And I was like, no, I'm not taking that. So I love that this kind of leads us to our path and to our passion. Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so interesting to hear that from you too. It's like, you just have to jump at it and take it into your own hands, be your own advocate.
Exactly. We talk about that a lot on this show too. And it's so important to remind our audience, you are in charge of your health and you have to be your own advocate. So I love that.
Yes.
And today we're talking about preconception and fertility. And so tell me, what is preconception care?
So preconception care is really the period of time, I like to call it trimester 0. Preconception period. And so this is when the mom and dad both work to improve their health, so that they can optimize fertility, but also create a healthy baby, have a smooth pregnancy, enhance that 4th trimester, but also set their child up for long-term health. So honestly, many people don't even realize that there are actual guidelines, even from the CDC, on preconception prep. It's not something that us as functional health practitioners just kind of make up and talk about. It's really everyone should be thinking about preconception preparation and preconception care, because it is so important to every single person. And, the actual prep work around it, I, in my practice, focus on foundations of health. So I talk about 6 key foundations, and that is stress, sleep, movement, nutrition, gut health, and then your cycle, your hormones, right? And so what that translates to is correcting micronutrient deficiencies, making our mind and body more stress resilient, but also working on stress management, 2 different things, creating healthy nutrition habits, making sure we're eating enough, in that realm, because I can't tell you how many people come to me and are, accidentally under eating. I think the vast majority of my clients fall into that category.
Same. Yep.
It's wild how many people are accidentally under eating, especially when we're talking about fertility. And then also, improving sleep quality, but also, figuring out circadian rhythm and how to optimize that, and then correcting gut imbalances, regulating your hormones, and prioritizing the right type of movement. So in a nutshell, to me, that is exactly what preconception prep is and what I do with my clients.
I love that. And that's very similar to what we do here at the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society. We dive into all those pillars, and they're all so very important. And like you said, not just for fertility or for preconception, but for your overall health in general, just to be a really well person. So I love that. And I have a lot of times people ask me, where do we start? You just named 6 different things. What is the most important place? Where should we start?
Yeah, very good question. So where should we start and when should we start too is any time before we get pregnant is a good time to start, right? And it can be preconception is really any time before that period. Yes, those 3 months are really crucial, but definitely that entire time, especially like up to a year. But what should we focus on first? So this is different for every single person, right? Like, what is priority? It looks different all the time because where are we starting from? And we know that fertility is so nuanced too, is like, are you smoking? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? Are you on hormonal birth control? Do you have a missing period? It's really just like, first, where's your starting point? But I would say to everyone, my favorite place to really start, that's kind of across the board, is learning how to track your cycles. Because we can find so much out from that. It's just, and I don't mean the calendar method, right? Like, if I just used the calendar method, I would have never gotten pregnant because I'm a late ovulator. I don't ovulate on day 14, like those calendar apps tell you that you do. So it's really tracking, cervical mucus patterns, basal body temperature, really trying to figure out when you're actually ovulating, when your fertility or your fertile window is, so that, we can optimize our chances of conception for one. So we make sure that it is in that fertile window, but also body literacy, which is something I talk to my clients about all the time. Like, how cool to know so much and be so in tune with your body, because that is what is going to get us really far in life when it comes to health, and not just fertility. Kind of like, as you alluded to, it's like, it's wellness. It's general wellness. It's not just fertility, but it's really important for cycle tracking, specifically for fertility too, because of those optimal chances of conception, understanding that fertile window. But also, we're able to really, like, if there's a problem in our cycle, we can really pinpoint where that is in our cycle if we're tracking, and use those signs and symptoms to even better understand what that problem is. Is it a short luteal phase? Are you not having high enough temperatures? Are you not getting cervical mucus when you should be? What is really happening there? So that is probably my number one go-to. But maybe, kind of, if you don't mind, like a two-pronged approach to that. Yeah. The other part, based on where you start to, is baseline labs, right? Test, don't guess.
Right.
A big testing junkie. I just love the data. It's so fascinating to really connect those dots, because that's another form of body literacy. If we can really see too what's going on. I like to do micronutrient testing, because that's important for everyone, especially fertility, because, honestly, that's one of my big priorities, because there is so much documented evidence that something as simple as a deficiency in a specific vitamin or mineral is linked to infertility, is linked to subfertility, miscarriage, birth defects, and the list goes on. And that's kind of a quick fix, to be honest with you, right? We see those data points of, like, are you low in vitamin D? Well, how can we fix that? It's pretty easy fix. So that is one of the tests I prioritize, but there's still many more we can get into, but that kind of gives you a direction to go of, like, where to focus in this preconception period, because it can be really overwhelming to find that starting point.
For sure. And I love we say that over here too, is test, don't guess. And I love the mineral testing. It's so crazy too, to see that data. And I work with a lot of clients that come in and say, like, I'm eating healthy, like, I'm super healthy, I'm doing all the things. But then we look at that data and I'm like, well, you're low in this mineral, you're too high in this one. Like, let's tweak this. And like you said, it's sometimes it's the super easy fix. It's just knowing what it is and then working towards fixing it. It's so important. So I love that.
And, like, even people doing what they think is right for them by, like, mega dosing or even high dosing one specific vitamin or mineral, it's like they all work synergistically together. So sometimes we can just throw off that balance a little bit. So just to have that data in front of us, so we can really get things, moving in the right direction.
For sure. So let's switch gears a little bit. We are going to have to take a short break in a few minutes, but before we do that, I want to talk about gut health. We said this in the beginning. This is a really important contributing factor to, overall wellness, but also fertility and hormones and everything. So how would we know that our guts are off? Is there certain symptoms that we'll have pop up, or how do we know that?
Yeah. So Direct symptoms, yes, like chronic GI symptoms like constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, gas, bloating, belching, acid reflux. Those are all, even not having 1 to 3 well-formed bowel movements a day. All of those are big signs that we got some gut stuff going on. But otherwise, indirect signs happen often with a lot of clients that I work with. And so to me, those are like brain fog, joint pain, headaches, food intolerances or allergies, autoimmune conditions, chronic fatigue, sleep disturbances, and then skin issues. So acne, eczema, a lot of that skin stuff starts from our gut, even sugar cravings and poor immunity. So those to me are more indirect signs, or just testing, right? Testing with like a GI map test to really see if there is something off with your gut.
For sure. And then I know this could be a whole topic in itself, but just briefly, is there certain things we should be doing to say we are having either direct symptoms or indirect symptoms? What should we do first there? Is it really testing first, or should we start with food and lifestyle and then see if it improves and then get some testing done?
Yeah, so I think that is where the person is in their gut journey. Because some people are like, I've been trying all these things. I've done all the elimination diets. I've cut out foods. I've done all this. So that's the point where I'm like, absolutely, we need to test. But if someone's new to this and is like, I have a little bit of maybe gut stuff. Well, let's start by changing the diet. Let's try to see how you do with fiber. Let's try to look at those processed foods to see what we can get out, but then let's replace them with really nutrient dense foods, and find triggers if that's a cause. So if we can tackle those from a easy standpoint, like swapping some food and lifestyle things, that would be a great start too. But typically I do testing on most all my clients.
Perfect. I love it. All right. Well, let's take a short break and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk practical tips and what we can do to optimize our fertility and hormones. So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. Hey girl, hey! I am so excited to announce the release of my Puzzle Brew Fertility Tea and Yoni Steams. I have been using teas and Yoni Steams from other brands throughout my years in the fertility coaching space, and for women who have purchased my online programs and books. And I have seen amazing results as my clients are getting pregnant, having amazing cycles, eliminating their hormonal symptoms, and more. But I have always thought something was missing. I love herbs and I wanted to create my own formula of fertility teas and steams that I know are going to not only taste amazing, but are going to work incredibly well for all of you who are struggling with these issues. Plant medicine is so very powerful, and I believe they were created for us by Mother Earth and God to give us everything we need to live a holistic and well-balanced life. These teas are going to not only taste amazing, but provide you with powerful plant medicine and be a great complement to your holistic lifestyle and are one more piece of your fertility and hormone puzzle. So check them out at CoachKayla.com to learn more and to purchase your teas and steams today. Hey Macy, welcome back.
Hey, thank you.
So let's talk practical tips. What are maybe your top 5 things that we should start doing today to really optimize this preconception, our fertility, our hormones, all of it?
I love that question. I would say my top 5 would start with, because I'm a dietitian, of course, but food. So eating the rainbow. This is what I tell clients all of the time. The more colors mean more antioxidants. Antioxidants lower inflammation. They improve egg quality. They dramatically improve sperm health and sperm quality too. But if you think about it, more colors also mean more variety, and our gut microbiome absolutely loves variety. So we can kind of approach that in 2 ways too. We're benefiting egg quality, but we're also improving our gut in the same and the same kind of change there. The next one would be to give your mitochondria some love. So we can't have a conversation about fertility without talking about mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of our cells, something a lot of us learned in school, but it's really where cholesterol is made into our mother hormone, which is pregnenolone. And we know that pregnenolone makes all our other sex hormones. It's kind of like a trickle down effect. So we have to have enough, healthy fats to make that mitochondria, but healthy mitochondria so that we can make hormones. If you also think about it, we generate energy from the cells we need for ovulation here. And so ovulation is a really expensive from an energetic standpoint. So mitochondria is responsible for that. So it's also crucial for egg maturation, quality fertilization, embryo development too. And I kind of think I'm cheating probably on this answer because mitochondria health, how we tackle mitochondria health is more of like an umbrella tip, because how we support that is those foundations, right? Sleep, movement, and stress. So that kind of falls under there. My next one would be test, don't guess, as we kind of alluded to before. So it can be really overwhelming when it comes to fertility and preconception, plus we're all just very different and very unique individuals. We all need different things. And sometimes we just need that direction of like, okay, there's so much to focus on, but what for me should I be focusing on? And so if we do, get some of those symptoms, talk about it, work with a professional, and then decide what test to go for.
Right. And just real fast, I want to throw in about the testing. I'm sure you agree with me on this, but I recommend working with a functional practitioner because blood work is going to show a lot different elevations and varieties than like a dried urine or like a stool or like a mineral test is going to show. And a functional practitioner is going to look at the levels differently. They're looking for root cause and healing that root versus just baseline levels for, medium wellness, if you will. So definitely working with a functional practitioner is key.
That is a very good point. And so you also can't take things like at face value, right? With testing, like you can't just get all your test results and think of them all separately. Like if you have someone that really knows how to read these test results, it's gonna be a whole approach. Like, what does this mean? And how does this affect this other level? It's not just at face value. So it's a really good point.
Exactly. And I find too, a lot of the Western medical doctors, they won't even go into it with you, where I'm like diving in deep and looking at the levels and like this affects that, just like what you probably do. So yeah, so important.
Yes. Yeah. We hear a lot of, everything looks fine, right? Everything looks great. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it in my spreadsheet using functional parameters, and wow, like everything is not fine.
Right. Right. So sorry, that was a side note. So yeah. So number 4 tip.
Yeah. Important side note. But then number 4 would probably be focusing on supporting organs. So, it's by no means just about our ovaries and about our uterus when it comes to fertility and getting pregnant. Our thyroid plays a major role in ovulation and egg development. Our liver processes toxins, and hormones as well, which is huge. And then we already kind of alluded to the significance of gut health and, fertility as well. So all of those are supporting organs that are really important for fertility. My last one would be reducing toxin exposure. So check your personal care products, check your cleaning products, what you use to cook with, what you use to store your food in. These all, can have contaminants that wreak havoc on our reproductive system and act as endocrine disruptors, that disrupt hormone balance, potentially could cause estrogen dominance. But also they just generate free radicals. And many of those toxins have been linked to infertility, and generating free radicals causes inflammation and causes poor egg quality, damage to sperm. So there's a lot coming from toxins that is not just an endocrine disruptor that can affect our fertility.
Gotcha. I love those tips. So I completely agree with all of them. So that was amazing. So let's dive into diet a little bit more. What should we be eating? Is there certain parameters, whole food nutrition? What should we be eating?
Yeah, so I would start by saying variety. I love to
Mm-hmm.
focus on variety with my clients. If you could be eating a really, really healthy foods, but if you're eating the same thing every day, we're just not getting a whole lot of benefit from that. So variety is number one. The quality of foods is another one. So like grass-fed, organic, wild-caught, free range. If that is not within your budget, focusing on the dirty dozen and the clean 15, but also eating enough food. So enough foods for fertility, because we do need so many of those micro and macronutrients. So those would be more broad, but in terms of more specific answers, protein is really important because it helps our mitochondria health. It supports tissues. It helps grow and build and regenerate new cells, including egg and sperm cells, which are very important to the fertility process.
Yes.
It also helps us make enzymes and hormones. So when I say protein, I like to focus on a lot of animal foods. So oysters, sardines, organ meats, those are all like fertility superfoods. But also tofu, tempeh, lentils, beans, eggs, nuts, seeds. Those are all really great sources of protein as well. Fat would be my next one. So fat, we have to have fat to make hormones. So I talked about earlier how we make hormones from cholesterol, and we make that from fat. So we have to have really good quality fat, because if you think about it, the more quality your fat is, the more quality your hormones are, right? So making sure we have enough of that too. So I prioritize like avocado in general, but avocado oil, olive oil, grass-fed butter, and ghee, raw nuts and seeds as well. And full fat dairy. That's another really good one. And then lastly, complex carbs. So this is where we get a lot of our fiber for most people. Carbohydrates in general are extremely vital to thyroid function, but also necessary to produce energy, so that we have enough of the energy to do all of those functions in our body. And then we really get them from whole grain products, beans, lentils, veggies. Sweet potatoes are another really great source as well.
Love it. Love it. So, and then what about supplements? So if we're eating, super clean, I get this question a lot. Well, I eat really healthy, maybe we do some testing and we kind of fix all of that, but do we still need supplements? And if so, is there certain ones we should be looking at?
Yeah. So supplements are also very nuanced. So it's very individualized. However, when we're talking about fertility, I think that there are a handful, probably about 4 roughly, that could be potentially good for a lot of people. The first one is a quality prenatal. So making sure you're choosing the right prenatal. I have 3 that I love the most. I don't know. Can we talk about names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So like Needed, Full Well, Seeking Health. Those are some of my favorites. They tend to have like 8 capsules, which is a lot, but it's exactly what we need, because they have enough of some of those really vital micronutrients for fertility, like choline and like folate, that you're not going to quite get from a 1 a day. So if you're getting a really quality prenatal, there's a lot less other things you have to take, because it does cover a lot of that.
Yeah. And side note, Needed, we love Needed. They've been on our show and they come in a powder. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't want to take 8 pills, then just get the powder, pop it in your smoothie.
Very, very good point. I love using their powder. I have it right now, actually.
Me too.
Another one would be fish oil, because we want to get those good omega-3 fats. And I just don't see people, including myself, unfortunately. I'm a dietitian. I know better, but I don't eat fatty fish 3 times a week consistently.
Right.
And so getting a really good high quality fish oil is going to be really important too. A vitamin D K2 combo tends to be good for a lot of people, because most of us are deficient. We know it plays a major role in sex hormone production, develops healthy follicles, helps with egg quality. But then on the flip side, we know that deficiency in vitamin D is linked to a lot of infertility issues. So that can be a good one too. And then lastly, a probiotic. Or probiotic dense food. So I tend to eat like a couple tablespoons of sauerkraut every day, and don't always get the probiotic in, but probiotic rich foods are just as great. This can help with the vaginal microbiome, which is really important for fertility. but it also can reduce inflammation, helps regulate our blood sugar, and helps prevent pregnancy-related complications as well.
I love that. And sauerkraut is delicious, and I love my fermented foods. So yeah, great point. So tell everybody where they can find you. Where can they learn more about working with you, and maybe touch a little bit on how you work with your clients?
Yeah, so I am primarily active on Instagram. You can find me at Well Women with an E Nutrition, or my website, www.wellwomennutrition.com. I work 100% virtually with anyone in the US, which is really fun for me that I can, reach so many people. I offer a mini package, which is essentially we just do one of my functional health tests or a custom blood lab panel in one session with me, or my one-to-one work, which is longer term, a minimum of 3 months. This includes health testing as well, and more of that hand holding and teaching those foundations of health to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row per se. And everything is customized based on that client and their goals.
I love that. It's amazing. And we'll link all of that in the show notes. It'll be really easy to find you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, Macy, it's been so fun talking to you. Thank you for being here. I would love to close with any final thoughts, any words of wisdom you want to leave us with.
Yeah. So I think, no one knows your body better than you do. Trust that, right? I hear so many women saying, I know something is off, but all of my tests are normal. Everyone's told me I have nothing to worry about. I have no answers, but I feel it. I just feel like something is not right. So advocate for yourself, because you should never have to settle. You deserve more. You deserve answers, and you also deserve to feel your absolute best. And then keep in mind and always remember that the providers are working for you and with you, and you are always in the driver's seat. And that is how every provider should make you feel.
For sure. I love that. Oh, well, again, it's been so fun to have you here. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Until next time, bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.